On October 1st, 1965, Walt Disney World opened its gates to the public for the first time. But have you ever wondered why Walt Disney chose Florida for his next park? Well, there is a lot that goes into that decision and a lot that went into building the Magic Kingdom, the first of our theme parks that we now know as Walt Disney World. Why Florida? Before he built the Magic Kingdom, he had to pick a location. But maybe we should start with a little Walt Disney backstory. You see, Walt Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5, 1901. When he was 2, his family moved to a farm in Missouri. And it was here that Walt developed his love of nature that would inspire many of the attractions at Walt Disney World. One of those attractions is the Country Bear Jamboree, which is located in the heart of the wilderness at the back of the Magic Kingdom. It's easy to miss, but it's definitely worth a visit if you're a fan of classic Disney or just want to learn more about the man behind the magic. He spent his days exploring the nearby woods and fields, and he filled his notebooks with sketches of the plants and animals he saw around him. This love of the outdoors would stay with him for the rest of his life and would eventually lead him to create some of the most magical places on Earth. And even though Walt Disney loved California and the original Disneyland, he knew that if he was going to build his next theme park, he needed a new location. But ultimately, he decided that the Orlando area was the best spot for his new park. Not only was it central to the state, but it also had a lot of undeveloped land, which was perfect for what Walt had in mind. He wanted his new park to be bigger than Disneyland in every way. A place with warm weather year-round was essential, and Florida fit the bill. The iconic Cinderella Castle was constructed first, followed by the other 3 lands of the park: Adventureland, Frontierland, and Fantasyland. All the while, Walt Disney was working tirelessly to make sure that every detail was perfect. He wanted his new park to be a place where families could make memories that would last a lifetime. Plus, it was far enough away from the original park to feel like its own unique destination. Walt considered a number of locations around the state, including one near Tampa. There were rumors that he was considering building another park in California, perhaps near San Diego. But what if there was somewhere else, somewhere hot and flat with lots of mosquitoes? As soon as you hear that, you might think, why would Walt Disney choose Florida? Well, when you're flying from California to Washington, D.C. to visit your friend's new theme park, you gotta stop somewhere in the middle. That's exactly what Walt did. And while visiting in 1963, he fell in love with the natural beauty of the area surrounding Orlando and decided to buy 27 acres of swampland. Construction started in earnest in 1967, and over the next years, the Magic Kingdom was built from the ground up. At the time, Orlando was a small town of just 18,000 people. So getting workers to build the massive Magic Kingdom resort seemed like it would be a real challenge. So Walt had a secret plan. He quietly purchased 50 acres of land across the street from the new park and leased it to a company called Western Airlines. In exchange, all the employees working on the construction of the park would fly to Orlando from California at no cost. And once the park opened, they could continue to live in the apartments above the Western Airlines hangar. Little did they know they were helping Walt Disney build a dream bigger than anything he'd ever imagined. Despite the amazing plans Walt had for his new theme park, there were some pretty big problems. Not only was the land basically a swamp, but a lot of it was underwater, too. This meant the foundation for the park had to be built over permanent swamps and a layer of hardpan, a crusty, sandy soil that's extremely difficult to dig through. Construction crews went through dozens of bulldozers and other heavy equipment trying to get the job done. The heat and humidity of the Florida summer also made working outside almost unbearable. To combat this, Walt brought in thousands of fans and air conditioners to keep everyone cool. Even with these challenges, work continued. Crews built the framework for Cinderella Castle in just 48 hours, and by April 1966, the entire structure was complete. Of course, there were bound to be some problems along the way. After all, this was a massive undertaking. But Walt was always able to find a solution. A crowning touch. Although the castle was finished, it was missing something: a little pixie dust. Walt wanted every surface of the castle to sparkle and shine like an ice sculpture, but that meant that every morning during the hottest part of the day, crew members had to climb up the outside of the castle with buckets of water and sponges to clean off the algae that would grow overnight. They worked quickly because as soon as the sun went down, the temperatures would drop and the algae would return. It seemed like no matter what, this castle just couldn't catch a break. On October 1st, 1971, after 5 years of construction, Walt Disney World finally opened its gates to guests. Unfortunately, Walt never got to see the finished product. He passed away in 1966. But his brother Roy Disney was there to see it through to the end. He actually pushed the opening date back a whole year just so he could attend the dedication of the park in person. Roy was also there to unveil the final addition to the park, the Walt Disney World sign, which he dedicated to the memory of his brother. Now that you know all about the history of the Magic Kingdom, I bet you can't wait to learn more about Epcot and taking Walt's vision of a community of tomorrow into today. So be sure to watch the next episode to discover more amazing history about Walt Disney World.